Good morning and welcome to the second ever episode of Transforming Steps for Her, an exciting new podumentary web series hosted by the amazing Elaine Lankford. If you're just tuning in and you don't know much about Elaine Lankford, let me just give you a quick rundown. Elaine is the founder of She Steps Forward Ministries and She Steps Forward International. She is a brilliant and brave woman with vision for miles and miles. She will stop at nothing in order to do good in this world, to empower and equip women to fulfill their God-given destinies. Above all, Elaine serves the cause. She serves that higher calling from God, wherever in the world it takes her. And speaking of which, she is fresh off her most recent African journey, mission, odyssey, whatever you want to call it, folks. Elaine Lankford is out there on the front line making big differences, big change in this world for women to be their best selves. Elaine, it is so good to be back here with you again. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Well, we have a lot to get through, and I am so excited to hear about the recent trip to Africa. I know this was a big one. Very important stuff going on right now with your ever-expanding nonprofit empire, frankly. So let's hop right into it. First of all, tell us how your nonprofit, She Steps Forward International, became internationally focused and what countries it targets.
So the story behind our travels to Kenya is just a very sweet one. We started off our first She Steps Forward conference here in the United States in 2019, and I was blessed for my good friend Teresa Obiwekan to come from Nairobi, Kenya to that conference. At the time, we didn't know each other. It was a chance meeting that had to have been designed by God. And Teresa was really focused on bringing something back to African women that would give them some grounding and push them forward into their destinies and what we had fit the bill. And from that meeting and from those discussions that we had going forward, we decided to launch She Steps Forward Africa in Nairobi, Kenya. And we did our first conference there in February of 2020.
Very good. And what should we know about Nairobi, Kenya?
Nairobi is a very, very interesting and busy city. Of course, it is the capital of Kenya. Most of the language there is Swahili, so you might need a little language education before you go. They're very gracious. The population is about 53 million people.
Wow. Okay.
And by the way, even though Swahili is their official language, there's about 68 different dialects that are spoken there.
Wow.
There's some really cool things about their culture that people should know. One of them being that Kenyan culture is very heavily influenced by Christianity. It's not the only religion there, but it is very heavily influenced. Over 80% of the population identifies as a Christian. And Kenyans put a very heavy emphasis on the values of humility, caring for your neighbors, and maintaining friendships. And so there are some beautiful people waiting to meet you.
I bet. That sounds beautiful. Now, we've talked before about the women's conference that you host there. How successful has the She Steps Forward Africa conference been overall? What are your future goals for the conference attendees?
So the conference has become a huge hit. We were received well the first year that we went, and we were blessed to have 60 ladies from 5 different African countries attend. This year we were so excited because in this post-COVID environment, we had 60 ladies from around Kenya that was able to travel and come to conference, and that was expected in this time period.
Yeah.
Next year, we are very hopeful that we will regain our multicultural attendance, and so we're very excited and looking forward to that. And touching on the conference, you have to remember that we're really looking to provide faith-based leadership and entrepreneurial training to females so that they launch their own business, ministries, and nonprofits. And in that, we're going to support them in many different ways. But our goals for them in the future as we build this conference is to every year enroll at least 10 women in a very specific coaching program that takes them through from front end to back end on how they're going to establish their business and ministry. We always want to support those who are already up and going, so we want to take 5 women who already have businesses, ministries, and nonprofits that are going and help them get to the next level. And because we believe in paying it forward, we want to train at least one woman every year from Kenya to be a part of the platform, the actual speaking platform of She Steps Forward Africa, to be that mentor, that example to the other women who are coming.
Excellent. Now, tell us about the Nemeland Queens and Kings Center, including their specific needs.
The Nemeland Queens and Queens Center is ran by Mrs. Grace, and Mrs. Grace is the pastor in the area that started this orphanage because she needed to take in kids that were just left to themselves. She is so passionate about bringing them and giving them a good life and an education. The needs are so basic at this particular orphanage right now, where there are over 60 kids. They need food, they need clothing. We are working on constructing a permanent building for them to house them, and they need education.
You also support the Kariokor Adult Center. What does this organization help with, and how is She Steps Forward International helping them?
The adult center is ran by Miss Angela, and Miss Angela's passion is rescuing girls who have been sold into child bride marriages, a very desperate situation that many families go through in the village of Malindi. Miss Angela brings them into her shelter, and she provides them with a life and child care and support to get them onto a career or a skill that will make them financially independent in the future and able to take care of themselves. And so, again, another facility doing great work that needs basic needs, such as building structures to house these girls so that she can bring more girls in, and then just the basics of food, shelter, and education.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, what age does that start with these girls?
She will bring girls in that are really between 12 and 18, because even as young as 12, these girls are being entered into marriages.
Good Lord. Well, you've mentioned before the Moses Basket Initiative, and I want you to elaborate a little bit on this for us.
So the Moses Basket Initiative is ran by Phyllis, and Phyllis is just this dynamic young lady that goes out into the community that is very passionate to educate girls about their female health, because their inability to understand the process is what's getting them into trouble. And so she provides female health education, parenting education once they've had babies, and then she supplies a basket literally full of care products for their baby and for the girls. One of the big issues over in Kenya is just the need for sanitary towels. Sanitary towels are not kind of the same as ours, but they do prevent these young ladies from being propositioned.
Right.
And just something as simple as that. So Phyllis is very dynamic in going out and doing this education in the communities, and also partnering and working with Miss Angela to bring girls out of the village of Malindi.
Okay. Now, what types of services does the Umoja Disability Center provide to Kenyan residents, and why is it so important to get funding for them?
So the Umoja Disability Center, ran by Mr. Wilson, is just such a sweet place. They do a lot of day programming like we would think here in the States. During the day, he brings in over 100 disabled, or as he likes to say, disabled differently people from around the community, and he teaches them skills, and then he tries to provide for them, whether it's a child with a disability, an educational background, whether it's an adult that needs some type of prosthesis, or whether it's just a family that needs to learn how to function with someone with a disability in their family. He provides just such a wide range of programs to try to help them become more active and more effective in their community.
Okay. And how can someone support your Kenyan efforts? And is She Steps Forward partnering with any other organizations in these efforts?
Yes. So people can go to shestepsforward.com to our donation page and make a donation to any of these outreaches that they choose. And very soon they'll be able to actually sponsor specific children through our She Steps Forward sponsorship program. If you think Compassionate International will have such a program established very soon that people can go in and be very specific about what they want to do. And we do have some fantastic partners that have come. We're partnering with Heartland Community Church out of Fargo, North Dakota. We're partnering with United Megacare out of Dallas, Texas. And our new friend is Healthcare Dynamics International out of Maryland. All of them bringing different pieces to the table to help with the social, economic needs that we're facing.
That is exciting, to say the least. Wow. So is traveling to Kenya a possibility for anyone who may be interested in seeing your efforts on the ground? In other words, who can participate in going on such a trip?
Yes, our trips are open. We love taking people so they can see what we're doing on the ground. The only caveat I would say to traveling to Nairobi is just caution for people who have upper respiratory illnesses. Those upper respiratory illnesses, asthma, need to be in very tight control because you are going into an environment there's some high pollution in the air, and we just want to make sure everybody is just safe. Other than that, we're happy to take anyone 18 years and older with us. And anyone who wants more information about our trips can just email me. The information is on the website, how to get in touch with me, and we will send them a full trip package. In Nairobi, Kenya, it is very much a city atmosphere, and anyone who travels with us, we make sure that our Kenyan partners are with us at all times. However, the most important thing to know is that we are down in southern Kenya. Northern Kenya is where there's more terrorist activity and difficulties of that nature. And so when we travel to Nairobi, we are very well sheltered, and we are very well maintained within an environment that keeps us safe. Wildlife is not something that is of a problem. In fact, we're able to go to their wonderful 100 acre safari that they have, or reserve, I should say, that they have right in the center of Nairobi, Kenya. And so the most wild animal that you're going to see out in the streets of Kenya is maybe a goat or maybe a cow that is walking along the road. But they're very much wildlife preservation areas there where they encapsulate the most dangerous animals, and they also provide care for elephants and giraffes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that probably is going to ease a lot of people's minds, because for Americans, sometimes concerns like that come to mind. So I figure having that peace of mind will be good. So it's very safe. Do you think that She Steps Forward International will ever reach out to other areas of Africa in the future, or will everything continue to be based solely in Kenya?
We will certainly keep a heavy footprint in Nairobi, Kenya, but we are excited for the possibilities to travel across Africa. We've already been asked if we will bring She Steps Forward to places like Uganda, Ghana, and Nigeria. And so we are looking forward to the day when we can expand and travel into those areas, and are actively working on relationships now.
because those things will be there. Praise the name of the Lord. They will always be there. I was supposed to be in the States in the month of March, and hell became loose. Different things started happening to stop this trip. Even after I bought my ticket, different things, different health challenges for my kids, different health challenges, kidney issues. You can imagine something. Hey, you are surprised to hear that after the spinal cord, we went into kidney. I didn't tell you, because she was one that took me to Kenyatta where we had spinal issues. When I said kidney, she looked at me. When did that one happen again? From one thing to the other, enlarged heart. And the devil said, you won't make this trip. Are you going to leave a child that is sick behind? You can't make this trip. Then I just prayed. I said, God, give me a sign. Talk to me. You know, there's a stage you get to, you just want God to just tell you. I said, God, if you want me to go, I will go. If you don't want me to go, I will stay. Whatever you say. These are the things that were happening around me. And I called my husband. I said, look at it. This child is sick. I don't think I will go. He said, go your way. Trouble does not finish. He said, go your way. Problem not they finish. He said, after the healing, something else will happen. So if I had stayed back and I started weeping and weeping, oh, this one is sick, that one is sick, I kept moving. I got there. Then I began to ask the Lord, what is the devil fighting so much?